everyone, and welcome back to Saltmarsh Salvage Operation. So we took a brief hiatus, and we're finally back here on the open seas. So why don't we get into some introductions with my lovely players. Why don't we? We're gonna go in a little circle. Why don't we start with Anders?
Oh, that's me. I guess I'm next in the circle. That's fun. My name is Anders. You can find me on the internet at Anders_D_K, or on Twitch at Hats, Cats, and Clerics. I use he/him pronouns. That's it. Not that interesting.
Who are you playing today?
Oh, shit. No, I'm just gonna be myself all day. I'm playing Monty, the tiefling warlock.
Awesome.
Who uses she/her pronouns. I'm so sorry.
I think we're doing great. I think everything
frazzle-brained.
We're doing just fine. Gonna go right down over to Val. I almost called you Tempest.
It is my name now. Hi, everybody. I'm Val. I use she/her pronouns, and today on these high seas, I will be playing Tempest, the Storm Genasi cleric who also uses she/her pronouns.
Thank you. And going over to Morgan. I keep wanting to call you your character names. I'm sorry.
It's wonderful. It's okay. Hi, I am Morrigan. You can find me on the Twitter at MorriganT or on Instagram because I recently started using that again. T as in the caffeinated beverage. That's TEA. And I am going to be playing Julia. She is a half-orc cinnamon bun of a druid who sometimes turns into an alligator and has a weakness for pretty girls.
Y'all.
It's so true. Teen.
All right. Teen. No Twitter. Well, as you know, I have a Twitter. I don't use it. I'm going to be playing Billion, she/her pronouns, who is a Furbolg cleric.
Lovely. And last, but most definitely not least, I will slow this down so that you can finish nibbling, Matthew.
It's me. Hi. I'm Matthew Foreman. I'm at Matthew W. Foreman on Twitter. I say this 90 times a week. I am a Dungeons & Dragons content creator and tabletop RPG designer. I am the dungeon master for a show called Ghost of the Machine on Dice Priority, 7 p.m. Central on Wednesdays. I will be playing Fisher, the Furbolg lore bard who is very tall, and he's also the only man in the entire ocean.
That's right. And if y'all aren't watching Ghost of the Machine, you should. Okay? It's excellent. Anyway, hello, I'm Emma. I use she/her pronouns. You can find me here a lot. So check my Twitter for those things. And on Tuesdays, I'm over at Dice Priority for Dragon Heisters, which we took a break from, but we are back this Tuesday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Yep, that's right. So, and this week I'm also in a Scraticus game on Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So swing by there. Okay. So I think we're good. I think we're going to go ahead and jump back in. Let's do a little recap so that both myself and everybody else remembers what happens. So after agreeing to August Dralian's request, the party embarked on a journey south to seek out the Emperor of the Waves. After a fitful night, the party awakened to a Sahuagin infiltration, which they successfully fought off, not without some minor damage to the ship. And so they assisted in cleanup, repairs, some minor looting and drinking. I'm looking at you, Monty and Tempest. Julia continued her quest to gain the love or trust or partnership or whatever it is of Captain Bones, with some minor interference and maybe sometimes help from the rest of the party, while she helped the captain heal from the invasion. And then the navigator informed everyone that the seas are in their favor. The The Emperor is less than a day's journey away, and Tempest began her evening with a recurring nightmare, perhaps connected to her wild surges and her icy sort of demeanor. And that's where we're going to pick up tonight, actually, is right in the middle of the night on the Nightingale. So, Fisher, you drift off listening to the sounds of the sea, something you are very familiar with and that brings you some comfort, and sleep takes you. So you awaken, your eyes open, and you find yourself on a pier, and there seems to be a town behind you, but it's blurry. And you can feel the warmth from the evening sun setting on your face and on your arms, and it warms your chest, and it seems to sort of envelop you. And you can hear the lapping of the ocean and the seagulls crying above. And in the distance, you hear the creaking of ships in the harbor. And you look out and you see the pier is stretching out before you, and you see something out on the end of it. What do you do?
Walk towards the thing that I see.
Okay. You make your way down the pier. When you get to the end, you see that there is a fishing pole. And you see that it's beautifully crafted, and it looks brand new and yet vaguely familiar. And next to it is a bucket of fresh bait.
All right. I'm gonna bait the tackle or bait the line and get to fishing.
So as soon as you pick up that fishing pole, you are immediately brought back to a time in your childhood, and a memory shimmers into existence before you, right on top of the water. A memory that your mind often returns to. What is it that you see?
There was a day when I was very young where I got to swim the whole day. I woke up at 6 a.m. and I swam until 6 p.m. And in fact, I swam for so long that my eyes closed shut.
And how does it make you feel when you see this sort of play before you?
Very, very happy.
And that takes us over to Julia. As sleep takes you, you find yourself inside of a bar, and you're holding 2 ales, one in each hand, and you hear a fire crackling in the fireplace. You can hear the murmur of the bar, but it also seems very distant and fuzzy. And you look up and you kind of feel like you have tunnel vision. And you see that the door to your bar is open, leading out. What do you do?
I walk outside.
So you exit the bar and you feel the warmth from the sunset on you, and you see the docks before you, and there are figures standing on the pier, and they kind of seem to be wrapped in mist. And as you walk a bit closer, you see a memory playing before you that brings you some joy and some solace. What is it that you see?
It's my parents, and I see them holding a baby in a blanket, and it's my little brother Jackson, and I hand them the bottles of ale, and for like a moment as I walk into the mists, I become like 7 years old again, and I exchange them their drinks and hold the baby, and I just look at my baby brother, and I just feel so warm.
And as you sort of stand there in that moment, the figures sort of begin to fade away, but they sort of wrap themselves around you as they fade into nothing. And you find yourself back there, and you're still holding those two ales. And you look out and you see that the pier stretches out before you, and you see someone sitting on the edge of the pier.
And I walk down to the edge of the pier, and I sit down.
When you sit down and look over, you see that you're sitting next to Fisher. And Fisher, you hear footsteps coming up behind you, and you turn around to see that it's Julia holding 2 ales, and you both have these smiles across your face. And the 2 of you sit next to each other on the pier. And so the 2 of you sit content, looking out at the sea stretching before you, the sun dipping into the edges of the horizon, and you listen to the gentle sounds of the ocean and the seagulls, and you rest quietly, a rest so deep and so gentle that you both awaken and you each feel inspired for the day. I'm giving you both inspiration.
This is so pure.
However, that does bring us to the day. And you all awaken, and the day greets you. And the crew, still kind of healing from that recent assault. There's the captain hobbling across the decks, looking like she's in a little bit better shape than she was, but still healing. And the day progresses, and you see that there's another storm heading this way. And the wind starts to pick up a bit, and the seas become a little bit rockier. And just sort of as about twilight approaches, the captain gathers you all up and brings you up to the deck and points out at the horizon, and you see the looming, shattered hulk of the derelict Emperor of the Waves. And Captain Bone says, "I'm amazed she's even still afloat. It's been years, and she looks to be in shit shape. So we're only going to bring you about 500 or 600 feet up to the ship. 2 of my crew will take a couple of rowboats, and they'll drop you off and help you on board, and then they will row themselves 100 or 200 feet away and wait for your signal for when you are ready to return. So I want you to take this," and she hands you what appears to sort of be a quarterstaff, but there are some runes etched into it. "When you're ready, I want you to toss this into the water and utter the words, 'Seas, save us,' and that will give us a signal to fetch you. But make sure to toss it close to you, because it'll let us see where you are." And should the seas become rough with this storm, my crew will row back to this boat, and we will stay until your signal. We'll get you back aboard. You have my word. And when she says that, she looks directly at Monty.
Do I believe her?
You wanna roll insight on her? You totally
Yeah, I do. Because Monty's gut is not to believe her, so. That's a natural 19 plus nothing, so 19.
She's being forthright. As far as you can
Just
tell.
single nod in her direction.
So, as you all look out, you can see that the Emperor is a bit closer now, and its masts have been shorn off. The upper decks sort of appear to be cleared of the debris, and you're not sure whether it was the force of the blow that cleared the decks, or if it was something else altogether that had cleared it. And her figurehead, that was once this majestic angel that was in flight, is hacked and completely disfigured. And Tempest, Monty, and Fisher, you'll all notice that the ship has suffered heavy damage across its decks. That looks to be sort of consistent with like a tidal wave or like a typhoon. And the ship also like lists noticeably to port side, which means that the ballast has shifted. So the incline doesn't appear severe enough to make any hazardous like travel on the deck, but you notice that the ship rides pretty low in the water, meaning that possibly the lowest decks are flooded, and it just doesn't look to be in good shape. And Captain Bones notices it the same and points it out and says, "You need to be careful in there. There's no way that we can tow her. She would sink before we even got back to shore. So try to make this swift, and if she begins to go down, you get yourselves the hell out of there. I don't want to send my crew in after a sinking ship in the storm."
In case we lose that staff, I've got these lights I can make as a kind of signal too. I hope you could look out for them, just in case we lose that staff or it gets accosted. And I'll show her my dancing lights.
And what do they look like?
One's red, one's blue, One's yellow, and one is, I don't know, whatever else would complete a more rainbow aesthetic. Purple.
Purple, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I want everyone, as you're sort of surveying this ship from where you are, I want everyone to roll a nature check.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is a 23 with a nat 20.
Oh!
Oh.
Natural one.
Oh,
14.
okay.
10.
Okay. All right. So, Julia, you see that there's some visible damage on the outside of the ship that is not due to time or to weather, but rather it appears that it has some sort of impact damage on the ship's hull that indicates that it recently came under attack from some sort of seagoing creature.
Okay. So would I know what kind of seagoing creatures would be?
The only thing that you can sort of tell if you want when you finally get on board, you might be able to take a closer look. But once you get down into the belly of the ship, if you go there, you would be able to maybe figure it out. But from where you are here, all you can tell that it was something big.
Okay. So I'd kind of gesture for everyone to circle up a bit. I'm sure you guys are all aware that the sea is home to many a beautiful, and I look at Monty, and many a dangerous creature. But I think that ship may have been hit by something more dangerous, and we should be aware just in case it's still lurking around. So.
All right. You see that there's crews standing by 2 rowboats waiting for you to board. The seas are beginning to rock like a little bit more. The skies have darkened considerably, and you can still hear that thunder out in the distance.
Tempest is Tempest is gonna walk up to like next to where the crew are with the rowboats, hop on the side of the ship, and just take a jacket off, and go like, "Don't worry about it. The sea and I are good," and dives in. I'm waiting to do this whole adventure. I have a swimming speed and the ability to breathe underwater.
Up there she goes. Woo! She's a little dolphin. The
That
crew
was a hell of a power move.
kind of looks at each other, and they're like, and then looks over to like the rest of you, like.
I mean, I could turn into something. Do you want to ride an alligator?
It's getting very lesbian in here.
Oh, that's new for the crew.
This entire ship is a bunch of lesbians plus Fisher.
And his name is Fisher.
We're all lesbians here, and it's okay.
I turn before getting on the boat. I turn to the captain, and I say, "Now remember to eat something and stop worrying so much about everything." And she kisses her on the cheek very awkwardly and gets into the boat.
The captain is sort of like,
gonna slap the captain on the back.
A lot of power moves in here right now. A lot of power moves.
The captain is gonna just wander off. All right. So, are you all getting in? Who's getting in the lifeboats and who's swimming?
Oh.
I'm gonna get in the lifeboat.
Okay.
I will get in a boat.
Not lifeboat, rowboat. I'm sorry.
Rowboat. Sorry.
I kind of want to swim it too, but I know I'll get left behind, so I'll get in a boat.
Yeah, they're only lifeboats once we start sinking. That's the difference between a lifeboat and a rowboat.
There'll be a lifeboat in about an hour.
I'm climbing my big ass into a boat because I can't swim. Crazy.
Okay, so you board, most of you board the rowboats, and you're lowered down into the ocean, and the crew begins to journey over to the Emperor, whose hull you can now hear creaking as the waves sort of rock this dilapidated ship, and you begin to feel a little bit of uncertainty about what might be inside these walls. But the crews there, they have grappling hooks to help you get up onto the decks, but you notice that the side of this boat is slimy as you're climbing up it. And you get
This is gross.
It is gross. And you get onto the main deck, and you can see that the Emperor's decks sort of slope gently down towards the ship's port side, and the forecastle and the quarterdeck are completely empty. There's no debris. There's nothing, and the only thing that remains of the ship's masts are short wooden stumps. And you can see that there are double doors leading to the cabins on either side. And you can also see that there's a metal grate on top of this main deck as well. And aside from the rhythmic creak of the ship's badly weathered timbers, it seems pretty quiet and pretty unoccupied. But I would like you all to make a perception check.
I got a 12, so I know we're on a boat of some sort.
I got an 8.
That's a 9.
Monty, come through. Oh, is Anders froze?
Oh no!
I just thought he was concentrating really hard.
I thought. I was like, he's fine. Okay, Billion, what'd you get?
10.
Okay, Monty, come through.
Monty rolled a nat 20. It's canon.
Oh no, this is terrible. Okay, we can pause for a moment. I guess maybe we can. Are they gonna come back? Are they coming back? Oh, hey!
He's back.
So they didn't really fix my Wi-Fi. They just
Oh.
they fixed
Hey,
it.
Monty came through though.
Yeah, 18,
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
Okay,
which is incredibly high for Monty.
everyone, all of you can tell, including you, Fisher. You sweet, sweet little thing. All of you can see that the ship's wheel is turning freely. It's just spinning as the boat rocks. And Fisher, you would be able to know that that means this wheel is no longer connected to the ship's rudder. And you can all see that there are doors leading into separate areas below the forecastle and the quarterdeck. And you would know that the area toward the helm is probably the captain's quarters, and the other is probably the navigator's quarters. And you also see that there's a large grate on the floor. Monty, you see in places that the deck is marred in some places by bloodstains.
Like,
Oh no.
Damn you, Comcast!
okay. He said to check.
Oh, wait. Oh,
Damn it.
he's back.
Okay. Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Hi.
Is it fresh blood?
Why don't you make it's not fresh, but if you wanted to make a medicine check, you could.
I know so much about medicine, guys. That's a natural 2 plus nothing.
They're not fresh. You're not sure how old they are, though.
I'm just gonna avoid stepping in it.
I mean, it's dried.
Yeah, just walk around it.
So, what do you do?
Oh, I'm resisting my natural urge to go rob the captain's quarters again. Even though there's nothing in there, it's just ingrained into me like, captain's room, let's go rob it.
Well, you actually don't know what's in there. You have no idea.
Technically, what we're supposed to be doing is robbing this ship. We're just giving whatever we find back to the dude.
We're getting paid to rob!
Captain's quarters. Captain's quarters, Tempest?
I think we're going to the captain's quarters.
Captain's quarters.
Yeah!
As they go to the captain's Kitty! As they go to the captain's quarters, I'm gonna do what you suggested I do earlier and investigate kind of the damage on this ship, the blood, and all that stuff. If I can figure out what kind of creature.
Go ahead and make a... If you're investigating the blood, make a medicine check. If you're investigating, like, the damage to the ship, make a nature check.
I do damage to the ship. That's an 8.
Oh, just an 8. Okay. So with that, you can't tell much more. Now, even close to this, it's hard to tell. You can just tell that it was something big that would cause some sort of thwacking damage. I'm not sure how else to describe it.
Thwack. Oh.
Thwacking damage.
Can I look at the blood?
Yeah, sure. Assuming that you all noticed that Monty stepped over something.
It was very distinctly like, I've got my saunter, but I interrupted my saunter to, like, step around the blood.
22.
Oh, with that, as you sort of look a little closer, because of how much time that you've spent around wounds and around blood, actually, you're able to tell that these stains are 3, maybe 4 days old, but probably about 3.
All right. I'm gonna talk to Julia about that. I'll let Julia know.
What are you letting me know?
About the blood, that they're 3 to 4 days old.
3 to 4 days old. Okay. That. How long ago did the thing with the ship happen?
Like, how long ago did this go missing?
Yeah.
Weeks.
That was a while ago, yeah. So this is new. Okay. That's interesting.
So something recently has been on the boat.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to be the only ones who are out looking for it, and it's a sinking ship. It's bound to have treasure.
Yeah.
So let's find out what's in the captain's quarters.
You just hear a call from Tempest, who's already gone forward. It's like, captain's quarters!
Okay. So you all head over to the captain's quarters, and you see that the door is not locked, but it's clearly in terrible shape. When you open the door, you can hear the hinges creak, and you can hear the wood shifting. Can I get a marching order for this?
I will go first if it is allowed.
I know, so I was imagining Monty and her saunter going first, Tempest trying to do the saunter, but it's just not working for her.
Yeah. And I'm assuming the rest of you are not far behind.
Yeah. I'll come in third.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I guess I'll take up the rear.
Okay, so you all get in there, and inside you see that there is what now dominates this cabin is a rough stone altar. You can see that there are some strange markings covering its surface. There's dried mud that's caking the floor around it. You can see that there's humanoid skulls in the wall above. and they're each sort of mounted on a wooden spike. And the corners of this room are piled with garbage and debris. There's crudely cut wooden logs, there's smashed furniture, there's torn sacks, shattered crates, small piles of dried and sort of dead palm leaves. And there's an acrid odor that fills the air in here. And I would like whoever enters or peers into this room to roll a d12.
That would be an 11.
Hold, please.
Ooh.
That's a 5.
1.
A 1, 5.
12. Oh, sorry, no, 10. 10.
Whoops. Hold, please. Monty, what did you get?
12.
And Tempest, what did you get again?
11?
And Fisher, what was it that you got?
A 1. Thank God it wasn't a natural on a d20.
So as you all sort of peer and enter this room, each of you sort of experience or see something in that moment that feels real, that appears real. And in that moment, you can see everybody else starting to react in very different ways to what's happening in this room. And in a split second, you all kind of like blink your eyes or shake your head and it's gone. And I would like you all to roll perception check.
That's an 18.
Okay.
That's a 6.
Okay.
8.
11.
A dirty 20.
Okay, so Julia and Tempest, as you sort of scan your eyes across this room now that things sort of are clear again, you remember your footing, you remember where you are and who you are, and you see that across the floor there are some journals that are sort of strewn about, and one of them sort of appears to look a bit more formal, perhaps a bit more well-made than the others, and you recognize it as perhaps a captain's log.
I go over and pick it up.
Does anything about the kind of style of the magic that this room would be used for? Because it was created, there's like an altar, some weird stuff going on. Does anything about it seem familiar?
Go ahead and roll me a religion check.
Because I don't know. I'm just remembering that priestess that came in earlier.
I'm just going to take this minute to try to get the metallic taste out of my mouth by drinking a lot of my flask.
Nat 20. It's 21.
You recognize this to be an altar of Lolth.
Oh. Oh. Well.
And as you sort of are investigating this and looking at it, you sort of see covered in mud. There's like little offerings here on the table, and one of them you see is a small little pouch.
I pick up the pouch.
Okay.
Can I don't open it, but can I like smell it or something? Like figure out what's inside without opening it? Yeah.
You can like shake it, and it sounds like there's like little gems in there.
I open it, hoping it's not what I think it is.
You sort of peek inside. You kind of have to angle yourself back towards the door because there's not much light in here, and you see that there's appears to be like red rubies in there.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. I was really hoping it was. I was not hoping. I was really thinking it was gonna be something like teeth, but it wasn't.
Oh no! Not yet.
Did you say not yet?
Yeah. I would like to cast Detect Magic.
Sure.
And start poking my eyes around the room.
How does that look when Fisher casts that?
Well, it's from my furball magic, so my eyes just glow a little bit.
Okay. As you sort of like look around and kind of scan the room, you don't see anything that radiates. Nothing pings for you.
All right, thank you. I tell the ladies, I say, I don't see any magical auras anywhere. I'm searching.
Can I see anything in the captain's... I pick up the captain's journal, I look over to Monty and I go, Monty, just as a quick pro quo, I think your wife tried to slap me earlier. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against her, but it was pretty weird and out of the blue. I just thought I'd write, you know what, never mind. I'm just going to read this.
I mean, she's kind of into that, so she should have asked first, though. That's important.
I mean, I was debating whether it was like, oh, tentacles or tentacles, and it was a very hit or miss situation.
Perfect.
Do you want some help reading that journal there?
Yes, because I'm not gonna lie to you. My reading skills are very low. As in, I can read picture books.
Wait. Will you read it aloud to us?
Yes. Read it aloud, Fisher. Read us a story.
Well, let's see if I can actually read it. My languages are common, elvish, deep speech, and giant.
Yes, you are able to read this.
Yeah.
Can I read it with common or primordial?
Yes.
Nice.
Common.
In common.
Oh, sweet.
So what's the journal say?
So as you look through it, you find some personal notes in there.
Kinky.
Some fan fiction.
Fisher, if you want to share any of that, you're welcome to.
They were writing a fanfic called Masters of the Universe. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's terrible. It's poorly written. It's misogynistic. I don't see this as catching on with a wider audience. Because people aren't that terrible. They wouldn't like something like that.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, that's broken me for a minute.
Love you, Matthew.
I'm the worst.
No, you're the best.
Thanks. Thank you all.
The best because you're the worst.
Okay. So, yeah, you find that. It's terrible. And then you also come across the details of the ship's last voyage.
Oh, here's the good stuff.
And in it is an account of a terrible storm that threw the Emperor off its course and separated it from its escort. So they were running low on food, running low on drinkable water. The ship was forced to drop anchor on some uncharted island. This is several pages that you're going through, and they seem to get a bit more frantic as you go through these pages and these entries. And the very last entry describes an attack by several orcs that fought alongside some goblins and some other monstrous vermin, some rats, some spiders, some all sorts of small creatures. And even though the crew fended off the initial attack, they suffered serious and heavy casualties. And the final entry records the captain's fear that this attack may have been the precursor to an even larger assault. And there is nothing after that.
I relay the information slowly and deliberately.
14 hours later. And that was the final voyage of this here vessel.
That's right.
Anyway, did I ever tell you about the time I was on a pier?
It was a hot summer day.
12 hours later, and that's how I discovered the first ever shellfish. Anyway.
While this story time is happening, I want to use some of my smuggling know-how and tap planks of wood, places, just trying to find a smuggler's cache or a hidden compartment, something.
Sure, yeah. Go for it. You can roll investigation if you want to, but since you're pretty well versed in this, you can just do it. It's up to you if you want to roll.
I mean, I don't have great investigation, but I have the lucky feat, so if I roll bad, 17.
Roll crime. Okay, so as you're sort of searching through here, while you're doing this, you begin to notice that there are some cobwebs and some spider webs across the interior of this room. And Billion, you see Monty going through and doing this, and you start to hear this ever so faint sound coming out of the port side. And just as you turn to take a look at that, a giant spider bursts through the webbing that's wrapped across these walls. And Monty, as you're sort of making your way through, as you tap, you feel your hand hit something soft. And you realize there's not a wall here, and you look over and you see the face of a giant bug-like creature with two pinchers. And I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Yeah.
This is gonna be so good.
Oh.
Oh, I probably should have mentioned the whole lol thing, shouldn't I have?
We're fine.
You know, I might have a spider on my leg, but that doesn't mean I want to pet a giant one on a spooky boat.
Okay. Oh my god, alright, this is fine.
It's gonna be great. Emma, you might hate me after this.
Oh no.
Why do you say that? Okay. So, 20 and above. 15 to 20.
19.
Hey.
Hey.
19.
Who got 19? What are your... You know what, just decide which of you wants to go.
Let me go first.
Okay. Deal.
What is it with Fisher, not Matthew? Jesus. All right. Tempest, what'd you get?
55.
Okay.
I got an 11.
What's your dex?
Me?
Yes.
2.
Okay. And, Billion?
10.
Okay. Fisher, you are...
So I see a giant spider.
Yes.
I cast I cast Animal Friendship on it.
Oh my
And
god!
it has disadvantage because of my weapon.
You are the worst!
Wisdom saving DC 14.
Is that a
Disadvantage.
cantrip? Is that a
No,
cantrip?
second level.
Okay. Oh, okay. Then I don't hate you at all. That's fine.
Wait, oh no, it's only first level. Oh, are there 2 of them?
No, there's only one right now.
Oh, okay, I'm casting just on the. It's a first level. So, Wisdom saving throw DC 14. They make it with disadvantage because of my sit turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy! Natural 1.
Yeah, I'm like, bring the itsy bitsy spider. The eye roll.
I'm gonna go back.
Came up the lawn. Yada yada yada. So whichever one that was, I say it's mine now. Don't hit it. It's charmed.
All right. So you see this spider kind of see its eyes. It's all of its multiple eyes, sort of like blinking and panicking, and then it kind of like skitters a little bit closer to you and just waits.
That's right. The worst. The worst spell.
The worst.
Lasts for 24 hours.
Sick. Great. Monty.
Is that the one I touched?
No, you are touching something that is not a spider.
Oh, okay. I think I'm just gonna panic and Eldritch blast it from like short range. Just
Sure. Here, I will put in Discord what that one looks like for those of you who would like to see.
oh, I don't know if I want to see it.
It's pretty gross.
I don't know if I.
I'm gonna. Yep.
Yeah.
For those of you watching,
Friend.
Ettercap.
Yep.
Oh,
Fucking Ettercaps.
maybe we can save him with the power of love.
Not as such.
I have no love for this creature.
Well,
That is unless I'm rolling at disadvantage because I'm literally touching it, a 15 to hit.
That hits.
Sweet. Yeah, this is like a panic. You hear? Ah! That is not a D10. That is a percentage dice, but we're gonna go with what it would have been. So that's a 2 plus 3, 5 points of
You
damage.
just got so quiet.
Oh no! 5 points of damage.
Okay. Okay, so this eldritch energy leaves your hand and blasts this creature right in the face. That kind of, its pinchers kind of like start moving really quickly, and you can see that it kind of made a mark on its face, but not much. That takes us. Is that your turn?
I'm gonna bonus action Hexblade's Curse
Okay,
On it.
sure.
because I'm panicked. I'm not
Do you?
thinking.
I believe that you pick a. Oh no, that's Hexblade's Curse. Is that different from a regular hex? Is
Yes. Once per short rest, as a bonus action, choose one creature to curse it for 1 minute. Against that target, I get a +2 to damage rolls, and a critical hit is a 19 or a 20.
Okay,
And I get HP if it dies.
sick. That takes us over to the little. It's not little. I'm sorry. It's not little. The Ettercat, which is going to attempt to bite you. Does an 11 hit?
I don't think so. You do. Yeah,
I
no, not close.
Okay, but it is then going to take a swipe with its claws. Does a 17 hit?
Yeah.
Cutting words. I'm going to reduce the attack roll by a d6
Okay.
by shouting out to it. Reduces by 4 to a 13.
Does not hit.
All right. What is it that you say to this creature?
I say, hey, you need to be one of two.
Can't with you tonight.
What is it like? Hey, pretty lady, want to throw me sign, something. I can't even do the freaking. My brain is. I can't focus. That is what I do.
You see it like panic at the words that you're saying and try to swipe it at Monty and miss, which takes us over to Julia.
Gator lesbian.
Yes.
And that's my action.
Wait, what is your action? What did you just do?
Gator lesbian.
Gator lesbian. Okay.
I do a gator.
Of course, as you do. Absolutely. Sure. All right. That takes us over to the Spidey, who is going to probably go toward Billion. And definitely... Does a 14 hit you? I don't think it's going to hit. Okay.
Nope.
Great. So it's going to hit your armor, and it just can't quite get through your armor. I believe that is it? Yes, that's it. Okay. That takes us over to you, Billion. Tempest, you're on deck.
I'm gonna cast Inflict Wounds.
Okay. On the spider? Or on the...
Yep, on the spider. So I'm gonna touch the spider and natural 20.
Okay, so max Christine, how do I do this? It's max weapon damage, then roll your die, and then double your modifiers.
Hold on a second. It is... Sorry, say it again. So
Max, so take automatic max damage and then roll your damage.
so 3d10 necrotic.
Oh my god, I think you're gonna...
Bye-bye, spider. Charlotte, no.
3d10 necrotic?
Yep, 3d10.
Alright, so you can roll if you want to see how much damage you actually do, but had like in one go, the spider's gonna fall.
So I'm going to just reach out and touch it, and right before me, it's gonna start to like slowly decompose and turn into slime and dissipate into the floor.
All right, so the rest of you see this spider collapse onto the ground.
That's the spider I had charmed?
Yep.
God damn it.
Oh wait, that was your charm spider, and I made it attack. It shouldn't have done that. I'm so sorry. I forgot that you charmed that in the very first round.
That's all right.
If we want.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. I don't want to do that shit anyway.
You know what? Because since that was my mistake, go ahead and give yourself that spell slot back. Tempest.
Positioning wise, is there anyone in the vicinity or immediate zone of the giant purple people eater monster?
Yeah, this is really close quarters. You're all right there. Monty is the closest, but this is not a big room.
Then, instead of using any sort of thunder wave, I will expend 1 sorcery point to use Twin Spell and shoot 2 fire bolts at it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Rolling. Ooh. Okay, that's better. 1 was a 5, and 1 is a 23.
Okay, well, the 23 hits.
Yay! So that takes 8 points of damage.
Okay. Alright, so you see this Ettercap get, you missed just right under one of its gross, long, spindly arms, but the other one managed to hit it right in its shoulder, and that takes us back to Fisher.
All right. The Ettercap's not an animal. I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers on it. Wisdom saving throw DC 14.
Okay. Oh, that's a fail.
Right. It's going to take 3d6 socket damage, and it's going to use its reaction to run away, which will provoke an attack of opportunity because it has a reaction to do so.
Okie dokie.
From whoever's standing next to it.
That's Monty.
You make an attack of opportunity with your reaction if you so choose, Monty.
Does it have to be melee?
Yeah, unless you have Warcaster. 5 points of psychic damage. I roll like dog shit.
Am I allowed to summon my sword, or is that too much for a reaction?
Sure, summon it. I don't give a shit.
Sweet! Alright, so my sword appears and I'll take a reaction attack against it.
There are no rules here.
16.
That hits.
Alright, so it's... Well, I rolled really shitty. 2 plus 3 plus 2, 7 points of damage.
Okay. Monty, that also takes us over to your turn. Before you do anything, could I have both Tempest and Billion roll on their magic tables?
I was about to say, I was like, oh my god, we forgot.
We're getting back into the swing of things. I've been absent for like 2 weeks and I don't know what I'm doing.
No, I was sitting there and I was like, okay, don't forget you have wild magic, and then just totally forgot.
I love that we have no wild magic sorcerers, yet 2 people with wild magic tables.
That's right.
All right. So.
Oh my god.
There are 6 flumps that are controlled appear in unoccupied space within 16 feet of me, and they are frightened of me.
Oh. Okay.
I grow an extra 8 inches.
Great. Grow a little bit hard. It's a little bit of a squeeze now.
Wait, are you taller than Fisher now?
I was 5'3". I am now 11 feet tall.
Fisher is 7'8".
I'm like Alice in Wonderland.
You said extra 8 inches. Do you grow 8 feet?
Oh, I said 8 inches. Yeah, you're right. Oh, thank God. Wait, just gotta check the table.
So you're just 5'8".
No,
Okay.
let's say feet. That would be funnier.
Yeah, you know what? Let's say feet. That's funnier.
There's a
Just 11 feet tall.
just like, hey guys.
You went from the shortest to the tallest member of the party.
I'm doing great. This happens all the time.
And you also, the rest of you see these little flumps appear, and their little tentacles. You can see that they're all kind of like glowing red, and they're all like trying to stay away from Billion. And that takes us to Monty. Now it's your turn.
There's so many things happening in this room. Stab.
Okay,
Oh, that's not good. 15?
that hits.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's better. That's a 6, so 11 points of damage.
Oh my god, hold on. I can't do math. Hold, please. Did you say 11?
11. Max
Okay.
damage.
You start to see this Ettercap sort of start to stumble just a little bit. Is that your turn?
Yeah, this is a small space. I want to kind of be a shield and keep it from going towards my friends. I'll just try to position myself in between it and everybody else.
Okay. That takes us to the Ettercap. And it's going to hold up 2 hands. Or they're not really hands. They're like claw-like velociraptor hands. And they are going to attempt to trap Fisher with... Does a 17 hit?
Cutting words. No, it does not.
All right, so these spider webs like come out, and you manage to lean out of the way just at the last second while this is sort of teetering the other way.
I will say, since you asked me last time, I will say, I'm going once, I'm going twice. I'm sold on the Ettercap in a long black dress. Well, she won my heart. It was no contest. With ruby red lips, round hair, blue eyes, I'm about to kiss my heart goodbye. And that disrupts their attack.
I don't think we can keep playing after that. That's Matthew, if you could only play bards from here on out, that would be delightful.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, that takes us over to Julia.
Okay. There's still an adder cap.
Yep.
And I am a gator.
You sure are.
And I'm gonna bite the adder cap.
Go for it.
Yes! That is a... Is it... 23 to hit?
That hits.
Okay. So, that's gonna be... that's 12 points of piercing damage, and it is restrained, which means it...
How much piercing damage?
12.
All right. How do you want to do this? How are you taking this baby out?
Oh, is it dead? Oh, awesome. Then I am just going to just come up to it and just bite its fucking head off. I'm going to just, like, attack it. Like, just fucking, like, pounce on it. Like, just gator jump at it. Like, you've seen those, like, stupid monster movies with alligators, right? It's going to be, like, the improbable. They don't move that fast, but for whatever reason, it's jumping, like, out of kind of the sludgy waste, pouncing on this creature, knocking it to the ground, and ripping its head off. And, like, there's, like, I don't know what color ettercaps bleed, but it's just everywhere.
And tell us, what color is it bleeding?
It's probably purple or gray. It's probably like an ugly gray color.
Can someone please clip that? That was great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this ettercap collapses onto the ground in a pile of sludge. There's blood everywhere, and you just see this gator. If a gator could smile, she's doing it, and she just looks up at all of you like, I did it! I did good!
You're awesome!
So,
Did anyone get injured? I don't think so, but
I think so.
Billion, I think you were the closest one. I don't think you did.
I regained 7 hit points from its death, but I also didn't get injured, so they just kind of dissipate, so I don't get them.
Cutting words is fun.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a fun adventure, y'all.
I will shrink in 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute and I'll be normal sized.
How long are those flumps up for?
Till the end of time.
Finish after 1 minute.
Okay.
They're still there.
Yeah, they're just...
Can I poke one?
Oh, if you want.
I hate flumps.
Oh, they're so cute.
They're vile.
Listen, Oak.
They're so cute.
Sure.
They are the most pure.
Do they do that thing that, like, I imagine jellyfish do, where if you, like, tap the bottom or, like, the head of them, they kind of then go back up slowly?
I actually do.
And it kind of looks at you like...
Wait, what color are they right now?
They're currently kind of reddish.
Oh.
Tempest, you look like a giant lesbian.
It's good luck for her. I'm gonna play the bongo drums on the top of the flumps.
Oh, and they're like, oh. However, this kind of like starts to become like
what we were looking for. I'm also still an alligator, so I can't talk.
This room contains a typically playing the bongos on a bunch of flumps, an alligator grinning over the severed head of this thing, an 11-foot-4 tall woman, and Billion, who has just fought a spider, and just Fisher, just there singing Itsy Bitsy Spider over his fallen charmed friend.
Yep.
Hey, Tempest, while you're up there, check the ceiling for, like, caches and stuff.
Oh, wait, can I like, knock into the top of this? Does it break?
You sort of, like, make your way through, you're knocking, and then your big-ass arm punches right through, and you're like, oh. But there's feel around, there's nothing up there.
I've checked it very thoroughly, and there appears to be nothing up here.
You know, this ship is like one good kick away from sinking, so you should probably quit what you're doing. Because I'm pretty sure I can get out of here, but I worry about the rest of y'all.
The brain says yes, but the heart says keep hitting things.
Thanks. So, by this point, you see that Tempest is slowly starting to go back to her short stature, and you see the flump sort of fade away.
Aww.
Bye-bye, Flumps.
So, we got servants of some shrine. We got servants. We don't know Lolth yet, so I'll be like, so, an ettercap and a giant spider, that's weird.
I'm just going to point. I'm not going to. I don't want to break wild shape because I don't want to have to use my second wild shape. But I'm just going to walk over to the remains of the spider and just be like, to try and hint at who it is.
Oh, okay. I can actually talk to animals, so I'm going to talk. I can't understand animals. I can't understand animals, but I can communicate to them.
Oh.
So I say, okay, tap your little right alligator foot if you're trying to tell me Lolth.
Taps.
Okay. So servants of Lolth all the way out here in the ocean. That's kind of weird.
What's a Lolth?
Yeah, I do not know what that is.
She's terrible.
Like, for
Gator
real?
gods.
Or just like, is that people's perspective?
Like if I put in a CV for a job application, would it be a bad idea or a kind of bad idea?
Her entire civilization is built on backstabbing, cruelty, and domination.
That all sounds like things I can get on board with.
I honestly don't think that they'd be on board with you.
But you're a gator, so no one understood that.
He's like, I'm just kidding, of course. I will not be joining in any cults
All right.
again.
Yeah, I'm spoken for.
Yeah.
Actually, like the idea that Julia just forgets that she can't talk, so if she tries to, and it's just gator noises.
Fisher looking down and reminding her ever so often. They still can't understand you. And I can't either. I can just talk to you.
I mean, I can understand everyone else.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there going to be some weird, bad consequence if we, like, break the evil shrine? Or is that something we should do?
No, let's destroy it. Everyone back up.
Alrighty then.
I'm gonna back up.
Yep.
Cast Shatter on the shrine.
Okay, go ahead.
This can't go wrong.
No.
Guys, the ship is fragile. Shatter.
Go ahead and make an attack roll on that, actually.
All right. 20 total?
Yes.
Okay.
What does this look like?
What's it look like?
Yeah.
I go bang, and it ripples out a thunderous blast in a 10-foot radius. Yep. 21. No. What's 7? 21 points of damage. Triple sevens.
Okay. So you see this stone slab crack in half, and you see the some of the skulls sort of fall from the sides of the wall and from the ceiling where they had been mounted. And you also see, as the rumbling begins, you see hundreds of tiny little spiders trying to get away from this, and you see them all collapse in unison as this sort of slowly dissipates, and the altar is destroyed.
I'm going to smash the skull on the wall that didn't fall. Just make sure we get all of them.
Nice.
Well, that's done. Shall we explore the rest of the boat?
I feel like we need to go, like, to the very bottom.
Yeah.
It's underwater. That means it's probably where the good shit is.
Oh, I can totally breathe underwater. We're fine.
So why
Finest
don't
the good stuff.
you scout it out for us then, Tempest?
Alright, Fisher buddy, can I scout out the water of the watery bottom is just the only word that came into my brain.
Take Julia with you.
How are you going to scout that out?
If it's underwater, is it an underwater place?
You're currently on the main deck. This is if it's large enough that it has multiple floors to it.
Oh, okay. Can I? Is there any stairs or anything to go down?
You currently do not see any stairs in here. Back out, on the main deck, there was another door that took you inside, and there's also staircases back on the other side of the deck, and there's also a grate that might take you down. There's multiple. As since you're familiar with ships, you would know that on the other side of the ship is how you're going to get down.
Okay, I will go to the other side of the ship and try and make my way down.
How are you making? Are you using? There's multiple ways to do this.
I'm going to try the grate because the grate sounded fun.
Okay, so you first sort of get to the grate and you take a look at it and you see that it's rusted shut.
Oh. I don't want to use a spell slot to break it. I sense I will need those. I'm gonna, just because I'm annoyed at it, I'm gonna kick it with my foot and then walk up to the door.
Sure. Yeah, you kick it and it doesn't really, it's so rusted that doesn't really do anything to it. You get up to the door. Are you opening it?
Yes.
You see that it is unlocked, and you start to open it, and you can feel that it's you can't tell if it's debris or if it's something on the other side of the door, and you kind of shove and you see that it gives, but you're going to need to give it a good shove if you want to try to open it.
I will try and open this door. I have a backup plan.
Okay, roll me a athletics check.
Oh! The dice did not betray me this time. Athletics +1, so that's a dirty 20.
Okay, so you give it a good heft with your shoulder. You throw yourself into it. Are the rest of you outside, or are you still hanging out in the captain's quarters?
I will follow.
Yeah.
Tempest.
Kind of be near her point of entry. You know what I mean? Like waiting in a fishing hole.
Yeah.
I'm gonna so she's going down into the bottom and it's underwater, so can I be at the top of the water?
Well, you don't see any water yet. No one is near any, other than the ocean. But right now you're still on the main deck. So there's none of you see any water on the main deck.
Okay.
So you get this door open and you kind of stumble inside, and you look around and you see that this room is completely filled with sheets of webbing. It is covering this room so thickly that you can barely see. You can only make out vague shapes around, and it's pitch black in here, but it's completely covered in this thick webbing.
You just hear Tempest from inside this door go, no! Guys, you remember the spiders? Yeah, I think there's more of them in here. There's a lot of webbing, and it's really not working with my outfit. It's terrible.
Can spiders swim? Is that a thing they can do?
I do not think most spiders can swim.
So if we go from below into the water area, maybe we can skip the spiders.
Yeah, do you want me to do that? I could always jump into the water and then just swimmy down.
I can swimmy.
You want to swimmy together?
You want to go swimmy?
Let's go swimmy. Okay.
Can't breathe underwater, so this might be a bad idea, but...
I have a swimming speed of 30 feet. Can I assist the speed in which we swim so that Monty doesn't run out of breath as quickly?
I have a swimming feat of 30.
Oh, then you're fine.
All right, so do you do this? Do you jump right over
the edge, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
First, I'm gonna take off that loose, colorful tunic I've been wearing this whole time and reveal my barely fitting corseted mariner's armor that I've been wearing underneath.
follow them. I also have a swimming speed of 30 feet, and I can hold my breath for 15 minutes as a gator.
All right, so you all jump in the water, and these seas are pretty rocky at this point because of this storm that's been heading in. So I'm assuming, you have to explain to me how you're doing this. You've got this ship in front of you. Where are you going?
Would we know from our past with ships where a good or a weak entry point would be if we wanted to try and crack into it, or where you could potentially enter?
You can roll a straight intelligence check if you want to see if you might be able to figure that out. But off the top of your head, if you want to think about it for a minute.
Intelligence check. Oh, yep, that's a solid 8.
Okay.
I know this is a ship.
Yeah, you're not entirely sure how. You just,
Could
You can look for a anchor hole or a cannon slot or something.
If you want to do that, sure.
Yeah,
let's do it.
I'll do
Okay.
that.
So you swim around. Why don't you each roll me an investigation check, whoever is searching for one of these, or perception.
I'm bad at both of those things. Investigation's slightly better.
That's a 19.
Okay.
16.
13.
Okay. So Julia and Tempest, you are now that you're swimming around and can see the external parts of this, you can see the actual sort of blunt force trauma, essentially, that this ship has experienced during its time out here on the seas. You're still not quite sure how to identify it, but what you can tell is that it was large and it battered this ship pretty aggressively. As you swim around, you are unable to find none of you are able to find any sort of point of entry. You can't tell where there might be, as you look around, you can't tell where the leaking might be coming from. You don't see an anchor hole. You don't see any cannonball-like holes. You don't even see any windows on this.
Really bad idea.
Do it.
We're on a time limit anyway. It's already got water in it.
Oh! Do what you want.
Do it.
No, because I don't know if my friends up on the deck can swim as good, and I care about them, so I'm gonna resist the urge to blast a hole in the bottom of the boat. So I'll surface.
I'm going to say, for the sake of not being terrible, that the grappling hooks that were on the side of the boat prior are still there for you.
That was nice of the crew.
Thank you, past crew.
So if Tempest and Monty could roll me athletics or acrobatics to climb up now that you are also wet and the side of this boat is getting wet. Julia, I'm not sure how you would like to approach this as a gator to get back onto the ship.
Yeah, I would probably have to just swim around, right?
Swim around. You can just swim around the outside of the boat forever if you want.
That's true.
Could we carry her up at all? We've got rope.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. If you want to, you all have a shit ton of rope. If you want to hoist this gator up,
Gator back with us.
Absolutely.
This plan did not work out, but it's fine.
Sorry.
Not all plans work.
I think you're doing great.
It's about ideas.
While you all are doing that, why don't we cut back up to Billion and Fisher? What are the two of you doing while these three are scouting around down below?
That's a great question.
I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pass a message at Tempest. I'm like, how's it going?
So positives. The ship does not appear to be leaking from anywhere underwater, so we've learned this. Negatives. We cannot find an entryway in this entire goddamn hull, so we're trying to hoist an alligator up the side of the ship through sheer strength of charisma.
How'd you get outside the ship? Cast message again. How'd you get outside the ship?
We jumped off the side, and
Fisher,
yeah, he's talking to me in my brainstem.
if he calls you back, tell him that we need help lifting the alligator. 'Cause I'm not that strong.
Fisher, we are one small water genasi. We need help.
I got it.
Can I'll unwild shape.
Okay.
I'll unwild shape, and then where are we? And then I will Misty Step back onto the boat.
Okay. Monty and Tempest, while you are like starting to pull these ropes out, you're in the water, it's starting to rain, you're being rocked around, and you look up and you see.
Oh.
Okay.
I will come around and say, yeah, I had a spell for that. You just holler next time.
Thank you for chatting with me, Brain Fisher.
I'm standing right next to you.
I'm not up the side yet.
Oh.
They're looking down at us.
I thought you two were able to make it up.
Should we throw some rope down for them?
I rolled an 18 on my acrobatics.
You get up. So you slip once, but you make your way up.
I rolled a 13.
Oh, okay. So you make your way up. You get about halfway there, and you start to slip down.
Levitate.
Okay.
So you just fly straight up. Now you're just gonna kind of walk on the air towards me. It's gonna take you a while, but just kind of saunter on over.
It's like super awkward, like fast walking, because I'm trying to like pick up my momentum.
A little further. You're almost there.
This is weird.
And then, okay, you're over the boat now. You can just lower yourself by force of will. Just think about it real hard and you'll lower. A little harder. Yep, you're going up. No, wrong way. Oh, down. Oh, there you go. Yeah,
You're doing it, Peter.
you just got to think a happy thought.
Had this dream before. There were drugs involved.
Yeah. That lasts for 10 minutes. I'm going to keep levitating on Monty.
Yes. I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
pretend I'm on the moon.
Well,
It's just like a buoyancy thing, like boom, boom.
we're all back up, and I'm sure you have a lot that you discovered, and you're ready to brief us on. So I'll just wait and hear it.
Okay, what we found was that the ship is made of some kind of incredibly strong magic that cannot be breached by the simple kinds of us, and all of my spells are like fire and stuff, so they would have been useless. So what we have discovered is that we need to make our way down there by foot, and we need to conquer this thing, because it cannot be tackled from the outside due to Loth-style sorcery.
Yeah, I thought you all...
Clearly magic.
Yeah, I thought we were making our way down there by foot. Why'd y'all hop off the side of the boat? What the hell were you thinking?
Fisher, have you ever heard of aesthetic? I am 99% water. This is what I do.
And I look better wet, so, I mean...
She looks good wet or dry, but wet adds a certain amount of, like, slick charm to it.
I just followed them.
So let's resume making our way on foot down into the hole of the ship.
Well, Monty's kind of levitating, so it's like halfway, but yes!
So the spider webs, the layers and layers of spider webs.
In what you think to be the navigator's chambers, yeah. You could make out that there were shapes in there, not of like creatures, but of like things, like objects in the room. But you got in about a foot and then said, oh.
I have
Yeah,
I have
that
a
was
dumb
my thought.
idea. Can I cast Firebolt at the webs?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We're gonna set the boat on fire, but whatever.
No,
That's fine.
the boat itself is it's rotting wood at this point. It's got so much brine and water in it that you think you'd be able to burn these, and it wouldn't really.
The boat wouldn't catch on fire.
Yeah, you wouldn't really be able to start a full fire in here.
The goddamn attack against the spider webs was a 23.
Okay, so yeah, totally. Are you standing inside the room or outside the room when you do this?
Oh, I'm standing in the doorway.
Sure. So as you sort of like spout off a couple of fire bolts at these spider webs, you see them start to singe and burn away, and you start to smell decay and rot, and then you start to hear screaming. It is a high-pitched screaming, not from a humanoid. It is from a creature. You hear hissing and you hear screaming from creatures, and skittering out of this room are hundreds of small spiders, some of whom you see just collapsing onto the ground. And then you also see running out of there directly towards you, Tempest, you see another huge spider lumbering its way towards you, and right behind it is another ettercap, and you see on either side of it there are huge, two large swarms of spiders coming at you. And I think that's maybe where we'll take our break.
Yay!
I'm doing great, everybody.
I hate the Tempest's first thought was just to close the door.
All right, so we'll be back in 2 minutes, y'all. Thank you for being here. I think you're lovely. And we're going to go get some water and talk about things. And we'll be back in a second. 5 minutes.
Third-person tech is fun.
I'm not sure if we're offline yet.
We're not.
I'm gonna ping Moose.
Hi, folks.
How you doing, chat?
We can't start talking shit about chat yet, folks.
Who wants to hear a Fisher story while we wait?
And that is our intermission entertainment, our halftime show, if you will.
Right, that's right. Literally an eternity? Oh my god! We can actually finish the fight by now.
By the time Moose gets back.
I mean, you're just dancing to invisible elevator music. Just the Jeopardy theme song starts playing.
All right, cool. Let's roll initiative, I guess.
Okay. Going. No breaks.
No break.
We're good.
So great.
We are doing spectacularly.
Everything is fine.
Fine.
Everything is awesome.
It's okay. Moose, where are you? I have to pee.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
I'm
you.
here for you.
Okay, 20 and up. 15 to 20.
17.
Good guys.
16.
18.
Wow.
It's from the garbage 5 from earlier.
Tempest, you said 18. Fisher, you said 16?
17. And
17.
I got 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bam, bam, bam.
Go, boingo.
No breaks on this gay train.
Oh, someone clipped that.
Oh, thank you. Perfect. Oh,
She's yes.
yes.
Not end it. Break.
Break.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Break.
Now we're going on break, guys, I guess.
We'll be right back.
welcome back. Thank you for bearing with us back there. So, if you're just joining us, the party is currently on a derelict, semi-sinking ship where they are seeking out a very particular item. They have discovered that there was an altar of Lolth in here, and there appear to be a fair number of spiders. However, we're still up on the main deck right now, and we are just starting combat. So... Oh, I'm up first. Okay.
Oh no.
All right. So you see these swarms come out of this room, and the first swarm is going to go directly for you, Tempest, and they're going to miss. So that's it. That takes us over to you, Tempest.
I'm going to. Tempest looks at all these things suddenly coming for her, and she goes literally no, and then claps her hands together and does Thunderwave.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Thunderwave. They have to make a Constitution saving throw of 13.
Okay, and were you doing this? Were you doing this to the swarm?
Yeah, it's a 15. Each creature in a 15-foot cube originating from you.
Oh, so you're going to hit everything.
I did not realize that. I thought it went straight forward, but
it's directional.
Oh, it's directional.
Yeah, it's a 3x3 square originating from her.
Oh, okay, got it.
Thank God.
I fail.
Yeah. Oh no. Then you take damage increases by 1d8, so that would be a 4d8. No, 2d8. 2d8 thunder damage. I'm 4th level. I do not have 4th level spell slots.
So this is Matthew. Say that again. What is it's extending from her?
Yeah, so a 15-foot cube, think of it as just like a blast forward for 15 feet by 15 feet. So it's like on a battle map, it's 9 squares. It's 3x3.
So she's gonna hit the group that's exiting.
Yeah, but not us. It's not like 15 feet.
No, but it's hitting the whole group there. So do I? This is an AOE spell, so I roll for each of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold please. Fail. That's a success. That's it. So I've got two. The swarm. Oh no, one more. The two swarms fail. The Ettercap succeeds, and this giant spider fails. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Damage was 12. And I rolled on my wild magic table, and I could no longer speak for a minute, and just pink bubbles float out of my mouth whenever I try.
Sorry, math. Okay, so is it half damage for the success?
On a system save, half damage.
All right, so you see both of the swarms just collapse immediately from this. And you see that the other two take some damage, but you see that the Ettercap still seems to be in pretty good shape. So, who's next? Okay. That is the Ettercap's turn, and Fisher. So, the Ettercap is going to take also a swipe at Tempest. Does a yes, I'm assuming a 21 hits. I don't want to be a dick about it.
Oh yeah, it totally hits.
Okay. You take 4 piercing damage and 6 poison damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Dice don't fail me now. Haha! 23.
Okay, so you start to feel something course through your veins, and you steel yourself against it, and you manage to avoid its effects. And that, it's then going to take a swipe at you with, it's going to try to bite you and miss. You manage to dodge out of the way just at the last minute, and that takes us over to Fisher.
Shatter. Constitution saving throws all around, please.
Sure.
DC 14.
I fail both.
All right. It only catches 2 of them? Or the other things?
Everything else is dead.
Okay, just right. I can't do math. 9 points of damage. Wow, dog shit.
Okay. All right, so you do manage to take out the spider. You see this spider sort of like shake and collapse onto the ground, but you see that this ettercap remains, and that takes us over to Julia.
Okay, so it's just the ettercap left now?
Correct.
Okay, Thorn Whip.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
Or roll to hit, not roll damage.
Yeah, it's 19.
That hits.
Yeah. Cool. That's 4.
Okay. Do you move it when you do this?
Do I? I can pull it closer to me. I don't think I want to do that.
Okay. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
Okay. That takes us over to Billion.
I'm gonna cast Sacred Flame.
Okay. Oh, that's me. What saving throw is this? Is this
A dex, so 16.
I fail. I fail.
You fail? Okay. So you will take 1 radiant damage.
Good.
And do you want me to roll on my table?
Yes, please.
Oh. For the next minute, any flammable object I touch that isn't being worn or carried by another creature bursts into flame.
Alrighty. Perfect. That takes us to Monty.
How's this Endercap looking? Does it look hurt? Does it look very hurt?
It looks pretty hurt at this point. It's got burn marks all over it. It's been singed. It's kind of hobbling.
Eldritch Blast.
Okay. I'm sure that was a really hard choice.
That was so hard. That's a 18 plus 5. That's a 23 to hit.
It's
Okay, cool. That is 9 points of damage. That is a 6 on my damage roll.
okay. Okay. God, math is really hard, y'all. Okay. Excellent. That takes us back to the top of the round, the ettercap. So, it's going to now go for, probably, we'll say Billion.
Good.
Does a 19 hit?
Yeah, he does.
Okay. You take 7 points of 8 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
9 points of piercing damage. I'm gay, I can't do math. 9 points of piercing damage and 7 points of poison damage. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay. Six.
All right. So, as you feel these sort of pinchers sink into your neck, you can feel something begin to course through your veins, and you are now poisoned. Okay. You'll be able to make another saving throw on your turn. But for now, you are poisoned. And it's also going to take another swipe at you with its pinchers, but is going to miss. And that's its turn. And that takes us... Oh, I'm sorry, Tempest. It was... Oh, no. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tempest. You were supposed to go before that.
Tempest, as Matthew pointed out, Tempest cannot now for a minute do any verbal spells because you see her try to cast something and just pink bubbles come out, and she does it again, like. And directionally is the ender cap in front of Billion or around Billion?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna take out my dagger, run up, and then just jab it at him. Rolling for damage. 10.
10 misses. You hit it, and you feel like it's hitting this carapace armor that is just it's too thick.
I have 2-weapon attack, 2-weapon fighting, so I can hit it again.
Yes. Sure.
Haha! Okay, that was better. Plus 4, 19.
Okay, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, it's only a 1d4. There we go. That is a solid 3.
Okay.
And that will be thy turn.
Yes.
Pink bugs.
So, Fisher.
I will cast Dissonant Whispers at it. It needs to make a Wisdom saving throw DC 14.
That is an unnatural 20.
Fuck you, Ettercap. Well, it's still going to take half damage, but it's not going to run. 11, so then 5 points of psychic damage.
Okay. However, upon casting that, you see... do you say anything to it? How does this work?
I just hum a discordant melody at it.
Okay. You see that it...
Take my horse to Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
Goodbye. It was nice playing with everybody.
You asked, didn't you?
I did ask. I did. Okay. So, you see that it actually kind of like collapses in on itself a bit, and you see now that it appears to be kind of standing it's barely keeping itself alive at this point, and it's kind of starting to like back up away from the group. Julia, you're up.
Julia.
Okay. So. Okay. We only got the one thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And it's looking really, I mean, it's looking like maybe one solid hit of something. We'll take it out.
Okay. Just one solid hit.
Yep.
Okay. How is it doing on those Constitution saving throws?
Do I need to make another one?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a 7. I mean, yeah, a 7.
Awesome. You fail. So you take 5 damage. He takes 5 damage as... I don't know what its gender is, actually. 5 damage as I cast Infestation. And a cloud of mites, fleas, and other parasites appear momentarily on the creature.
Okay. So you see all of these little itty-bitty mites and creatures crawling all over this thing, and you see it kind of like twitching and trying to get it off, and then you see that it kind of like reaches out to try to take one last swipe at you, and it falls down flat on its face. And it's down.
Awesome.
And you are left with oops, that's not what I wanted to do. You're left surveying the wreckage.
I feel like there's gonna be a bunch of those on this boat.
Do they normally travel in swarms? Are ettercaps like? Do they reproduce often? Let's talk about ettercap sex. That's what this is now. This is a game where we talk about that.
Welcome to our nature stream.
What was that, Monty?
Tempest is burping out bubbles.
Oh, I'm sure it'll pass like every crazy magic effect that she has.
Can I roll nature and or religion as to an answer to why there are so many ettercaps on here?
You can roll a nature check if you'd like.
Is this body?
That's 17.
So what you do know about ettercaps is that they tend to hang out in webbed areas. They often are around spiders. You know that. Sorry, my little kitty meowed, and I immediately was like, "What do you need?" That there are that they hang around spiders. They tend to live in sort of spider nests and spider areas because they also themselves have sort of, they use webbing. They can crawl up ceilings.
They're just hanging out with their spider bros, man.
But spiders live in swarms.
Yeah.
Yeah, but giant spiders, like, they can only fit so many, you know. They need room to stretch their legs.
This is a pretty big boat.
Yeah, but I'm saying maybe a half a dozen, not like hundreds, come pouring out of the darkness.
I mean, if there's babies.
Like
is there any nest left in this room?
Yeah, there's a little bit left. Use your burning hands to do that. My AC just fell out my window, so I'll be right back.
Oh.
When you started with my AC, I thought that sentence was going to end completely differently.
Yeah, I thought she was in an armor class. The cat pushed the AC out of her window. Wow, cats are the worst.
Sabotage.
They are just instruments of chaos.
That is a strong cat.
My dog would never in a million years cause me such ruin.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
I'm just saying.
My dog keeps opening the door and letting himself out like he owns the place.
As one does.
Yeah, in fairness, he pretty much does own this place. The only thing he's afraid of is a 13-year-old cat.
Poor Emma.
Yeah. R.I.P.A.C. Oh,
The second one's coming to investigate.
this drawer is mine now.
This is
Mini
entertainment right here.
Mini cops.
I hope her AC's okay.
Yeah.
I live in a second story, so if that happens.
Oh, it didn't even fall like a foot. I was worried about my cat, though, because it was my cat that was crawling on it, which caused it to just fall.
What did I say?
All right, so, did you decide to burn down?
Yeah, so with my lasting wild magic, I'm just burning down the webs that are left in the room, and I'd probably try to burn this creature too.
Okay, sure. So you managed to successfully do that, and you managed to clear out a lot of the webbing that's in this room, which allows you to see that this is more of like a there's still maps on the table. You can see a couple of compasses. You see that there's some table and chairs. You also are able to see that there's a hole in the ground, not in the ground, but like in the floor of this, that looks like it could take you down. You don't see a ladder on it, but you see that there's a hole that it wasn't made. Was part of the ship that's been
Can
carved.
Can I cast light?
Sure. What are you casting it on?
The hole, like to see if I can see down it.
No, but you have to cast light onto like something. It can be the edge of like a mace or a staff. It could be on a coin that you drop down there. It can be whatever you want.
Sure, let's do that. I'll cast it on a coin in my pocket and then.
Sure. So you drop the coin down there, and when you drop it down, you see hundreds of tiny spiders skittering away from this. And you see down below, it's sort of sitting down there. You see that it's pretty dark, and you just see webbing all along the sides.
So I'm gonna relay that to my party.
We fish
Probably
in the
better
barrel. Just pew 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 pew.
Okay. I'm gonna just go shoot some fire finger guns in that hole.
Yeah, I'll Eldritch Blast down there as well.
Teamwork!
Well, these are
What?
like, I mean, you can totally do that if you want to. Or what are you trying to Eldritch Blast?
If there's stuff moving down there, just shoot down the hole in case there's anything big hiding around.
Sure. So you shoot your Eldritch Blast off. It sizzles on the ground, and you see all of these tiny spiders. It catches some of them in the sort of like blast radius of that, but otherwise it didn't appear to hit anything else.
I think it's just little ones. You just step on little ones.
You can. You do have some really nice boots to step on them with.
These boots were made for stepping on things.
Exactly. I have heard that before in many of your tales.
You know.
I know.
If I go down there and I scream,
Oh, I'm
save me.
totally going with you.
I'm gonna lower myself down the hole.
I will immediately follow.
I'll also go.
Dokie.
Also, did we buy healing potions? Because Billion and I got hit bad.
I believe some of the gear that August left you had some healing potions in it. It also had some. Billion, you can make another Constitution check about your poisoning.
Oh, 7.
So you still, you all sort of see that Billion just looks a little, for lack of a better phrase, green around the gills. She just looks a little sick.
Would lesser, I don't have it, but would lesser restoration help? Or did I just do a Listen.
There are.
I have an intelligence of 8. I know what I'm doing.
You did also get some antitoxins.
We could just use that.
I actually have
Here that will help you, y'all.
I have an ointment. I can't pronounce the name.
Keegan's.
Sure, that sounds good. I have that ointment. So can I just use that?
I don't know what it does.
So it will. I'll regain 2d8 plus 2 hit points, and I'll be ceased to be poisoned.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's great.
That works. That's perfect.
2d4. I'm just gonna gulp down a normal healing potion.
Okay. I was gonna say, is anyone else injured?
Nice.
I don't think anybody else got hit.
Good. Because I could sing a song and heal your wounds.
I think you should
Billion
sing a
is
song
looking
anyway.
much better now.
Yeah, I'm feeling spiffy
No
wick.
longer green.
Okay. So, Monty.
Dark as fuck down here.
That's correct. However, you do have that little coin of light sitting.
And dark vision, so.
And you also have dark vision. And when you're finally able to get your bearings, you are able to make out that you are in a room. And you see that the webbing is very thick in here. And you see that it is covering up partially covering up some sort of strung bones similar to what you saw earlier at the altar. You see shriveled limbs of humanoids and animals and other gruesome remains sort of strewn about the floor, hanging on the walls. And then you see hanging from the ceilings are 4 sort of human-sized bundles wrapped up in all of this webbing. And you see that there's tiny little spiders scurrying away from you, away from the light that you're carrying. And I would like you to also roll a perception check as you sort of stand in here and get your bearings.
I do not like this.
Ooh, natural 20.
This is some Return of the King. Natural 20.
Are you all down there with
I hopped down after Monty and I got an 18.
Okay. So you, those of you who just rolled perception checks, you notice as you're standing here sort of surveying this gruesome and disgusting room, you see that these webbed bundles that are hanging from the ceilings and from all of this webbing occasionally twitch and shudder in ways that are clearly not caused by the rocking motion of the Emperor.
Everyone likes their lunch left alive. I would say maybe we should help them, but I don't want to meet the thing that's planning on eating them.
I was going to say the same thing. I think we should kill the thing and come back and help them later.
I kind of feel like maybe these are lunches left in the fridge, and if we just leave it alone, we won't get in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm keen to agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are they undead?
we could help them, but
Would these be considered undead?
You'd need to actually like investigate it. Like you might have to like cut it open to see if.
But they could be like just paralyzed. They could be alive.
Can I pick up something like relatively rock size and throw it at one of them?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a ton of debris. You could probably find a bone that you could throw it. Sure. So you throw it, and you see that it swings, and it starts like moving and wiggling, and it's twitching, and you can see that something is trying to get out of this. You can't really hear anything, but you see that there's something reacting to that.
Oh, I feel kind of bad.
I'll pull out a knife and move to cut that person loose. Well, that creature. I don't know if it's a person.
Okay. Make me. They're wrapped up pretty tightly, and you see that they might be hanging from something else connected, like on the inside of it. So I need you to make an athletics or just a straight strength check to work this.
20 total.
Okay. So you stab this knife in here, and you start cutting your way down through this. And as you're cutting it open, you can faintly hear like breathing, and you continue to cut, and this thing spills open, and down onto the floor you see a writhing creature with hands, and you see that it is split in half and it appears to have this maw that's going to start snapping at you, and I need you to roll initiative.
God fucking damn it!
I told you not to take the lunch out of the fridge.
I was trying to do the right thing. That'll be the oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
That'll be the last time I got a natural 1 on this. That'll be the last time I ever do the right thing in this game. It's anti-karma. I was trying to do the right thing.
There is no right thing.
No.
Okay. If the rest of you also want to fight, I need you to also roll initiative.
Yeah.
Is this a Zorn?
I can send you a photo of what this looks like if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay. Hold, please. Where did it go? I have too many tabs open. I don't know how people do this. Okay. I'm going to put it in Discord.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you watching at home.
No.
Something
Nope. That's like a little gremlin.
It's not great. It's not great.
And it's just
let the spiders eat it.
Well, it's out of the bag now.
The cat, the old demon cat, is out of the bag. Okay, so 20 and above. 15 to 20.
18.
Is that Monty?
Yeah.
And me.
Is that Billion?
Yep.
Did you both get 18?
Yes.
Okay, you can decide amongst yourselves who goes first.
I'm just gonna shoot it, so
As you do.
something more interesting planned.
10 to 15.
I got a 15.
I got a 10.
That's all of you, isn't it? Oh, Fisher, what'd you get?
Got a 5 because I rolled a natural 1.
Okay. All right, so that has us at the top of the round with Monty/Billion.
Monty, you can go first.
Eldridge Blast. I'm a warlock. It's what we do. That's a natural 20.
Hey! Okay, so the way that crit damage works is that you take max weapon damage, then roll your damage, then double your modifiers.
Okay, so max is 13, then roll it. So that's 18. 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
18 damage. Damage.
Nope, it's 10. I added my modifier twice. 10. No, 10 plus 5 plus... Oh, 18. Yeah, math is hard.
Dude. Yep. Oh, ow. Okay, great. So, upon this first eruption of Eldritch Blast, the other two... 3, actually. Was it 3? Yes. The other 3 wiggling things hanging from the ceiling burst open, and 3 more of these maw demons sort of enter the fray, and they're all hissing at you.
Is this creature right next to Fisher? Fisher just got it out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's standing literally, like, at Fisher's feet.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm gonna make it be by my feet so it doesn't hurt my friend. So as the Eldritch Blast hits it, I'm gonna use Grasp of Hadar, and the, like, Eldritch energy is going to, like, morph into almost tentacles and, like, grab it and pull it to me.
All right, that means, Fisher, you get an attack of opportunity.
Cool. I'm gonna stab it with my knife.
Do it.
Stab.
Don't think I hit. 12 to hit.
That just barely misses.
Yeah.
Skitter's right in between your feet, and it gets ripped away before you have the opportunity to hit it. And Billion.
So I'm going to cast Inflict Wounds.
Okay. Now are you going to do this on the one that was just attacked? There are 3 new ones that have just popped out.
Which is the one that's closest to me?
The one that was just
so
attacked.
It's near, yes, because I'm near Monty. So I'll go for that one.
Okay.
Okay, so does... Hold on a second. 18 hit?
Yes.
Okay, so... So you'll take 14 necrotic damage.
Okay.
And then I will also roll on my wild table.
Oh, that was dumb. That was easy. Okay.
And then for the next minute, all my spells with a casting time of 1 action have a casting time of 1 bonus action.
Okay, so you will be able to cast 2 spells then. You'll be able to cast one as a bonus action and the other one will be an action.
Okay, so okay.
Right? Is that how that reads? I think that's how that reads. Okay, so that takes us over to this hurt little demon who's going to go directly for Monty.
Yeah, bring it.
It's going to attempt to bite you with its massive, gross maw, and it hits for 13 piercing damage.
All right.
You see this mouth just grab the entire shin. And that's it. That takes us to Julia.
Julia, that's me. Okay, so there's like 4 of these things.
Yes, there are 4.
Where are they all?
So there's one that's directly at the feet of Monty. The other 3 are sort of like scattered in the room. It's a very small room.
It's a very small room, so there's no way I can get them all in an AoE thing without affecting Fisher and Monty, is it?
Depends on how big the AoE is.
20 feet?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
This room is like 15, it's not even 20 feet
Okay.
in length or width. In width, it's about 20 feet, but...
And that one...
Because you're like at the bow of the ship, so it's a weird little curved room.
Okay. Could just do that. That could be terrible.
It could, or it could be great.
Yeah. See, my whole thing is if you guys, so I'm thinking about doing entangle, and if you guys also fail, then at least we can like get these guys easier. But hopefully you guys won't fail. Thoughts? Do we have time to have thoughts?
Not really. I'm going to give you about 3 more seconds to make this decision, and then we're going to
Alright, I'm casting Entangle in the room. I'm not in the room. Everyone make Constitution saving throws.
What's the DC on that?
Is it con? Oh, Morgan disappeared.
Oh.
They did.
And where'd they go? okay. Hi. Thank you.
Hi. Sorry.
What was the DC on that?
13.
13.
17.
Sweet.
7.
She
$15.
didn't laugh. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Tempest, were you in the room too?
Yeah, I'm in this
Okay.
room.
I thought it was just Monty and Fisher. Okay.
No, I believe everyone is in the room.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Awesome.
2 of the Maw demons fail, and 2 of them succeed.
Cool. So I'm assuming that because we're not on the ground, that this is like seaweed and like kelp and stuff that's coming up through the boat.
Well, no, there's no water here. Where you are right now, there's no water. This is just a broken ass boat right now.
No, I understand, but like the way that Entangle works is that vines come from out of the ground.
Oh, then yeah, it's seaweed for sure.
Yeah, so it just like bursts through the boat.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's what happens, and they get restrained. So they can't make attacks, and we have advantage to hurt them.
Okay,
That is what I did.
got it.
I am also restrained, correct?
If you did not pass,
Cool.
sorry.
That's fine. It's fine.
That takes us over to one of the Maw demons who saved, and is going to, upon seeing you capture its friends, it's gonna go after you with its
Fine.
and miss.
Cool.
It's gonna tumble over itself a bit, actually, and that takes us to Tempest.
Any of these wee beasties in 4 inches of each other?
Yeah.
4 inches. What?
That's like 4 inches.
I have chromatic orb, and it goes 4 inches. I'm trying not to hit anybody.
You could probably get the 2 that are actually restrained next to each other.
Then I am going to cast. Wait, is there what happened to the one near Monty?
It's on my leg. It's eating me.
Literally eating Monty's leg right now.
Okay, then this may work or it may go horribly. I'm going to spend another sorcery point to use Quicken Spell, and I'm going to throw a chromatic orb at the 2 ones within 4 inches of each other, and then Scorching Ray at the one on Monty's leg.
Okie dokie. Let's roll. Let's see what happens.
So chromatic orb at 2nd level. Forger, you choose the acid core and make a rage spell attack. Okay, don't fail me now. Yay! 18?
That hits.
Awesome. Okay. Oh no, rolling it at 1st level, so it's only 3d8. 4, 3. I'm using the wrong dice, ignore me.
Is this the chromatic orb that you're rolling right now?
Yeah.
That's going towards the 2 that are...
2 that are within 4 inches of each other. That's 8, 7, 3. That was way better. 18.
Is that 18 damage?
18 damage, yeah. It was a 18 to hit and 18 damage.
Okay. Did you, since they're restrained, did you roll at advantage?
I did not.
Good, just in case you get...
No, I got 7 on the extra roll.
Okay. Okay. And then did you want to roll for the Scorching Ray?
Scorching Ray, and I have to roll for each one. So,
Give them, aren't there?
it's another 18. Wow. That is a 21. Come back here, dice.
21 to hit.
Yeah, 18 to hit, 21 to hit, and then a 7 to hit.
Okay. And are you aiming one at each, or are you aiming them all at...
All at the one on Monty's leg.
Okie dokie. How do you want to do that?
Yay! Don't eat my friends! Tempest is going to chuck this orb with one hand, and then turn to the other turn to the one on Monty's leg and say, "Those boots are only made for stomping. Get the hell off!" And then, finger gun 3 scorching rays that kind of just incinerate this boar, leaving only its teeth that clatter to the ground because teeth. Oh,
Okay.
and is it 26? Illusory fish swim around me for 10 minutes. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
What do these fish look like?
They are little chromatic fish. They look like they're white, but then they slip around and you can see the rainbow colors refracted in their fins. It's a beautiful sight in this kelp covered ship.
That's lovely.
That's lovely.
Okay, so that takes us to the when a creature is restrained, they can't do anything, right?
Yeah. I
Okay.
can bring up the restrained condition if you like.
Nope, it's cool.
They talk.
So, I mean, they're not making any sort of language noises.
Can I wink at Tempest? Just a reaction.
A restrained creature's speed becomes 0 and it can't benefit from any bonuses to its speed. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. So it can still make attacks. Okay. It's restrained so it can't move, and the attack rolls have disadvantage. So it could reach out to someone who's immediately next to it.
Okay.
And the creature has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws.
Okay. And can I roll to see if I can get out of this restraint?
Yes, that is a...
Is that the 13 strength?
I think so. Yeah, against my spell save DC. So that's a 13.
Okay. So this one manages to get out of its... the first one managed to get out of its restraint.
Yes.
However, I believe that takes...
That takes up its action.
Whole action.
Yeah.
So that takes us to... Fisher.
Fuck me. I will cast Vicious Mockery on on one of the Zorns.
Sure.
Sorry, Maw Demons.
Yeah.
Just whichever.
Sure, pick one.
The one of them, the ones that's not restrained. I don't know.
Okay. Sure.
A Wisdom saving throw, DC 14.
I fail.
2 points of psychic damage, has disadvantage on its next attack roll. With my bonus action, I will heal Monty. Got their shit right?
Yeah.
Alright, I will heal Monty. You heal for 8, Monty.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Bonus action healing word. I'm just gonna stay in the weeds here. I'm literally in the weeds.
All right, that takes us to the last Maw Demon who is not going to get out of its... You see it struggling against all of this seaweed and it's unable to get out. Monty, back at the top of the round with you.
I am restrained. Are there any little monsters within 5 feet of me where I'm restrained? Because the one that I pulled to me is
There's
dead.
the one that you pulled. The only other one that's would be near you is the one that's on Julia, and I don't know how close Julia is to you. So you can make it up.
Well, because I have a verbal-only cantrip that I was thinking about using because it would not be at disadvantage because my mouth is not restrained. But if Julia is not within 5 feet, it won't work. So
You know what? Fun. Let's say that she is.
Okay. Oh, but then Julia's in range too.
That's right.
I'm gonna do it anyway because it looks really cool, and I'm hoping it'll get me out of the vines.
Okay.
Because I am a sword lesbian and I cannot currently slash with my sword, I am going to create a circle of spectral swords that just and do what's it called? I forgot what the spell's called. Sword burst.
All right.
And I just, in Infernal, say slice. And people need to make dexterity saving throws. Which is the thingy, and I guess Julia, and the tentacly weedy things?
Yeah,
Possibly?
I fail.
I also fail.
Yikes.
Oh, okay, well, it's not a lot of damage. It's only 1.
It's okay, I deserved it.
It's 1 point of damage.
Hey, that's better than 0 points.
Did I cut through the entangling things, though? Because that's what I was trying. Okay.
Oh, is that what you were trying to do?
That's what I was kind of trying to do, was can I, cut my way out dramatically?
Yeah, okay. Let's say that you do that. Let's say that these swords come out and they slice not only... in the process, they manage to slice both Julia and the Maw Demon, but it also frees you in the process. Billion.
Nice.
I am going to cast my Sacred Flame cantrip
Okay.
to the nearest one to me. I don't
Okay.
know which one it is.
That's okay. I got it.
Okay.
I fail.
You must. Okay. So then you take. You take 8 radiant damage. And then with the way that my wild magic works, is that I get another one, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna cast it again.
Okay.
So you'll have to make a dex saving throw.
What's the DC? What's your spell save DC?
16.
I fail.
Okay. So then you'll take 4 more radiant damage. And because I did that for my wild magic, do I need to roll on my table again or not?
No, you do.
I do? Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's more fun that way.
It is one more fun. Just making sure. For a 97. Hold on. So, I am surrounded by faint music for the next 1 minute.
Okay. Is it anything in particular? Is it wild? Is it metal?
It's just very calming.
Okay.
You see my fish start to move into the tune of it.
What a weird little group this is.
Our wild magics are working together.
Yay, synergy!
Julia.
Yes.
No. Julia, your turn.
Okay. So, let's see. What am I capable of doing? There's things I am capable of doing. So how many of these things are left? Still 4? We haven't killed
3.
any of them?
No, you
3.
killed one. That's 3, and one of them. Well, no, they all kind of look hurt-ish.
Okay. Fuck it. Thorn Whip.
Okay.
Let's see. 18.
That hits.
Cool. 5 damage.
Are you hitting the one that was free? Oh, there was 2 that's free. Am I just picking one?
Yeah, hit one of the ones that's free.
Okay.
I'm worried about the one that's restrained right now.
Okay. That takes us over to the one that you just hit, who's actually going to go for you as well. You see this little maw come up to you. An 18. Does that hit?
Yeah.
Okay. You take 10 piercing damage.
Oof.
And
Yes.
Tempest, your turn.
I'm going to go for the one that just went for Julia, and I'm going to use Firebolt.
Okay.
Okay. 21.
That hits.
Yay! And then that is a 1d10. Okay, so that's a 3.
Okay.
You hit Tempest, go finger gun fireball again, and go, goodness gracious, great folds of fire. Because I really wanted to do that. I'm so sorry. And I got a roll on my table. 82. Gravity reverses in a 30-degree radius till start of next turn.
Oh gosh.
Well, so does that mean you're floating?
Yep.
Okay, you're floating.
Everyone's floating, right?
Everyone is upside down and floating.
Great.
Damn it.
Again.
So you see this fireball extend from Tempest's hands. You hear her, and then suddenly, as soon as it hits, you all sort of like lift up and hold for a second, and you all kind of look at Tempest like, what?
Except for the one that's restrained.
Correct.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm restrained.
Like, and the
I
rest,
meant to do that.
yeah.
Wait, no, you're not restrained. You're.
Oh no, I freed myself.
Yeah. But there's still one demon that's restrained.
Correct. Okay, so that takes us over to the Maw Demon who is free, who's going to actually not hit anybody. It's like moving its gross little clawed tentacle arms. Fisher.
I'm gonna stab it at the Maw Demon is what I'm gonna do.
You want me just to pick one?
The one that just attacked. The one that just attacked.
Sure.
Move on. Bonus action, I will healing word Julia. They just got hurt, so.
Yeah, thank you. How much?
You heal 4. 8.
Nice.
Yep, that's my turn.
Okay, that takes us to the restrained Maw Demon who's going to attempt to get out again, but it's just floating wrapped up in this seaweed, unable to get anywhere. And we're back at the top of the round with Monty.
Okay, it's restrained Eldritch Blast.
Oh, weird.
How creative. That's 19.
That hits.
Okay, that's 5.
All right, how do you want to do this?
I'm just like doing like a weird, like, can't quite contain my body, can't quite control how I'm floating, and I'm gonna start to like try to like doggy paddle swim the levitation and just like flick it out towards it, and I'm more paying attention to trying to keep myself upright than actually hitting the dude.
All right.
The thing.
And it explodes. And now you just have these floating particles of Maw Demon around the room.
Ew.
Yep. Billion, you're up.
I am going to cast Sacred Flame again.
Okay.
So make it.
I fail.
Okay. So you take 1
Okay.
radiant damage, and then I'm gonna have you make it. I'm gonna cast it again.
Okay. Oh, what did you say that your spell save DC was? Was it 14?
16.
60. Oh, I fail.
Okay. For 3 more radiant damage,
Okie dokie.
and hold on. 66. And so up to 3 creatures I choose within 30 feet of me take 4d10 lightning damage. Yes.
I'm assuming you're gonna pick the Maw Demons.
Yes. Good
There
guess.
are only 2 left, and you
So
can.
I'm gonna give those 2, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, did it say you have to pick 3?
Up to 3 creatures.
Oh, up to 3. So you'll pick those 2. Okay, perfect. I was like, I don't like this.
hold on, I gotta find my. Okay, so you will take 3, 6, 7, 8. 18
Ooh!
lightning damage.
How do you want to do this?
Ooh, both of them?
Yeah.
So after I cast my Sacred Flame, erupting from my hands is this bright lightning lightning bolts, and unexpectedly they just shoot from my hand towards the creature.
Okay, and you see these two maw demons sort of like singe and vibrate with all of this electrical energy and this lightning energy, and they both just collapse to the ground. And now these bodies are just floating in this lack of gravitational pull room now. And that's where we're gonna end tonight's session.
Oof.
We all fall when the gravitational pull goes away.
I'm gonna get finally comfortable, floating, lounging on my back, and then it ends.
All right. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. Why don't we go around, tell us who you are, where we can find you on the internet if you want us to, and your favorite moment from today's game. Oh, let's go in reverse order. Sorry, Matthew.
That's me. I am Matthew Foreman. I am at Matthew W. Foreman on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter, on Variant Rolls, and on Dice Priority.
We need to just get like a little recording that you
just not even like a good one, like it's literally me playing it into the mic.
Yes.
Like a tape recorder.
I am the Dungeon Master for a show called Ghost in the Machine, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Dice Priority. My favorite moment of the night. This was a hoot. I like that everyone was everyone was just like basically when Monty / Anders was like karma. I cut open and was surrounded by demons.
Perfect. Teen.
Teen can't find me anywhere yet. On Twitter, and my favorite moment of tonight was just kind of hearing the vivid descriptions of the monsters and the area, the way the boat was set up. I thought that was really cool.
Awesome. Thank you. Julia. Or Morgan. Sorry.
It's okay. My favorite. Okay, I'm Morgan. You can find me on Twitter at MorganT, where I talk about tabletop role-playing games, filmmaking, and other fun stuff. Yeah. I am a game developer and a writer and a filmmaker. Yeah, those are things I do. I'm also on Instagram, but I barely use that. Anyways, I loved this game so much. It's gonna have to be a tie between two moments, and that was being a gator. I really like being a gator. And ripping people to shreds. That's fun, especially just with Julia. This just stark contrast of just flower crown lesbian and just gator.
Pretty great.
It's pretty great. But I also just love the wild magic surge stuff. All that craziness is great.
Yep, it's pretty fun. I love tables. Val.
Hi everybody, I'm Val. I'm at the Nerdy Niffler on Twitter, and my favorite moment of the night was just I have a top 3 because I couldn't choose. The top 3 is music with the descriptions of the dreams because those were absolutely fantastic. Props to you, Emma, for these music choices because they're amazing, and all the descriptions. I love it. Second was Julia biting that thing's head off and then smiling so happily. And the third was like, just I was saying earlier to Anders, just Monty and Tempest is like, Captain's quarters, swimmy, swim. It's just really that. I love this whole game.
And that takes us up to Anders.
I'm Anders. You can find me on the internets at Anders_D_K on Twitter, or Hats, Cats, and Clerics here on Twitch. Not doing a bunch right now, but I'm unemployed and finally have some time, so hopefully I'll get some stuff together for people to see. My favorite moment. There were so many good moments. I'm pretty sure it was when Matthew started singing his cutting words or whatever that spell is that cuts the damage, and we all lost it for a good 3 minutes right there. That was great. I like when that happens.
It was delightful.
You're
all delightful. I'm Emma. You can find me at MK Hansen on Twitter. I am here a lot, and on Tuesdays I'm over on Dice Priori for Dragon Heisters, so check my Twitter for that. I talk about a lot of gaming stuff and a lot of social justice stuff and other random stuff. And my favorite moment from today, I had so many. I thought this was such a good session. I think you're all so great and delightful. I would probably, Julia turning into a gator and ripping apart everything was pretty hysterical, but also I really enjoyed Fisher's singing. It really got me every time. I couldn't. It's just so good. All right, so stick around, please, for the Invisible Sun game that's happening in 10 minutes. I'm really sorry we're getting out of here. But definitely tune in because it's a charity stream and they are raising money for the Big Bad Con Scholarship Fund. So that's awesome. So stick around here. Go get yourself a drink of sorts, get some food, and stay tuned for creepy tentacles and sexual demons. So, all right. We're good on time. Okay, cool. But we're going to bippity bop out of here. Thank you all for being here. I'm pretty sure that we will be here next week at this time, but it's a little wonky right now. We're trying to figure some things out for all of our beautiful, wonderful, lovely, awesome players. So check the Variant Rules Twitter for that. And thanks for being here. We love you. Bye.
Hi.
Oh, and thank you to Moose for running tech. Okay.